Hello friends, in this video we will understand a very important concept called as IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO. The reason why this topic is very important because if you understand this you will be in a position to answer many questions which are asked in the gate with related to memory interfacing. Let us begin. So let's start with IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO. Basically these are two different techniques to interface devices. Interfacing devices means connecting devices with MUPI. Now these devices can be either input output devices or these devices can be memory devices also. So depending upon the technique that you are using, that is IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO, how does that affect IO devices and memory devices? That is what we are now going to learn. In fact, these two techniques are actually showing you the technique by which IO devices are treated while interfacing with MUPI. For example, when I'm saying I'm using IO mapped IO technique, it means I'm treating IO devices as IO and memory devices as memory. Then student gets wondered, so what you are saying, IO devices should be treated as IO and memory devices of course should be treated as memory devices. What's the big deal in that? So just listen to me and stay focused what I'm saying. IO mapped IO is a technique where IO devices are treated as IO devices. And when it comes to memory, memory is always treated as memory only. In this second technique, that is memory mapped IO, IO devices are treated as a part of memory. I repeat, IO devices are treated as a part of memory. So in second technique, that is memory mapped IO devices are treated as a part of memory. Why we do so? What is the effect of treating IO devices as a part of memory? Why not to treat IO devices as IO only? So everything will be answered in this session. Now, when IO devices are treated as IO devices, so can I say that to access IO devices, I will be using two dedicated control signals, that is IO read and IO write. And to, of course, access memory devices, I'll be using memory read and memory write control signals, right? So in IO mapped IO technique, which is a very simple technique, in which IO devices are accessed with IOR bar signal and IOW bar signal, that is IO read and IO write control signals, as well as memory devices are accessed with, I'm sure you can guess, that is MEMR bar and MEMW bar control signals. It's very simple. Since IO devices are treated as IO and memory devices are treated as a memory, IO devices of course accessed with IOR bar and IOW bar signal, whereas memory devices, since treated as memory only, they are accessed with the help of MEMR bar signal, that is memory read control signal, and MEMW bar control signal, that is memory write control signal, right? Let's talk about the second technique where we say memory mapped IO, where IO devices are treated as a part of memory. So from microprocessor point of view, IO devices are not IO devices now. They are treated as if they are memory. That's the reason why to access IO devices as well as memory, pay attention what I'm saying. To access IO devices as well as memory, IOR bar, IOW bar signals are not used and MEMW bar R signals are used. I'll tell you what I said. Here, IO devices and memory are accessed by MEMR bar and MEMW bar control signals. Then student ask me, sir, if it is so, then how will we differentiating IO devices from the memory? First of all, you don't have to really differentiate. If you really wanted to differentiate, why did you come at memory mapped IO technique? Then you must go for IO mapped IO technique, where IO devices are treated separately and memory devices are treated separately. So when it comes to memory mapped IO, the motive was very clear that I want to treat IO devices as a memory. So when I'm treating IO devices as a part of memory, why do we really want to differentiate between IO and memory, right? That's the reason why in second difference what I've written, IO devices as well as memory are accessed by using common control signals, that is MEM-R bar and MEM-W bar. I'm sure the concept is quite clear what is happening in memory mapped IO and what is happening in IO mapped IO. Why we are doing this may not be clear right now. It will take time to understand, but I'm sure that conceptually what is IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO is now clear to you. So further we will be discussing the same topic. The next difference, that is the third difference now I'm going to discuss. In this, IO devices are allotted with 8-bit address and memory devices are allotted with 16-bit address. I think my point is clear. All IO devices are allotted with 8-bit address. See, addresses are required because there are many IO devices. If MUPI wants to talk to a particular IO device, how it is going to communicate with a particular IO device? By sending its address or by broadcasting its address, right? It is quite analogous to announcing a roll number in the class, because if there are many students, how to talk to a particular student? Suppose if I say roll number 14, the student with roll number 14 will raise his hand, so I can, as a teacher, I can communicate with that student, right? So in a way, when there are many IO devices, MUPI broadcast the IO address and a particular IO device is selected whose address matches with the broadcasted address. Therefore, every IO device will have its own unique address. So IO devices are allotted with 8-bit address. Remember, 8-bit address means hexadecimals 2 digit, right? So addresses will be looking like this: 90 hex, 94 hex, A2 hex, AF hex, like that. Whereas memory is always allotted with 16-bit address. Here memory means every memory location I'm pointing to. So every memory location is pointed with 16-bit address and every IO device is treated or it is selected with the help of 8-bit address. Whereas in memory mapped IO, since IO devices are treated as a part of memory, so there is absolutely no differentiation between memory and IO now. Therefore, memory locations as well as IO devices are treated or allotted with common address, that is 16-bit address, right? Address is not common, size of the address is common. So third difference over here I can write IO devices and memory locations are addressed with 16-bit size address. Therefore, such type of address in hexadecimal will look like as if it has got 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4 hex or 5, 6, 7, 8 hex or a C050 hex, like that. So such locations when they are coming, it is either memory or it can be IO. You cannot differentiate because you are already in memory mapped IO. Yes, if I'm talking about IO mapped IO, which is now quite crystal clear that IO devices are treated with 8-bit address and all memory locations are allotted with 16-bit address. So when you say address is 14 hex, definitely it is not related with memory location. It must be address of one of the IO device. And when I say 1400 hex as a location, then definitely it is a 16-bit location. It is always belonging to memory location. The fourth difference in IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO is, see, since 8-bit address is allotted with IO devices, the number of IO devices you can access are 2 raised to 8, which is 256 IO devices you can have. So you can have 256 IO devices in IO mapped IO technique. Whereas when it comes to memory, since you have 16-bit address, you can access 2 to the power 16 byte, which is nothing but 2 raised to 6 into 2 raised to 10 byte, which is nothing but 64 kilobyte. So how much memory you can access is 64 KB and how much IO devices you can access is 256 devices, right? Over here, now the problem is you cannot have 64 KB memory. Reason, because some of the addresses will be taken by IO devices which are also 16-bit in size. That's the reason why I would say memory plus IO will be total inside 64K. Or in fact, suppose you have decided a particular system where you don't have to use memory only, you want to use IO devices only, then you can have 2 to the power 16 devices, IO devices. So 2 to the power 16 can be taken as 65,536 IO devices. So you can now just compare this 256 with this. Sometimes in particular application it may demand that you require large number of IO devices. During that, IO mapped IO technique fails. So we go for memory mapped IO technique, in which what we do, we have large number of IO devices. So as you can see, because of 16-bit allocation as an address to IO device, that is to each IO device, you can have 2 to the power 16 IO devices, that is 65,536 devices, out of which you can at least reduce some devices and you can allot the same addresses to the memory. So you will have certain memory also and you will have certain IO devices also. Remember that in memory mapped IO technique, it is not possible to have 64 KB memory. It is memory plus IO devices. In totality, you will have 64K addresses, right? So the problem with memory mapped IO is that size of memory is reduced as compared with IO mapped IO. The next difference we will discuss orally. Since IO devices are treated as IO in case of IO mapped IO, to access input and output devices, we use instructions called as in instruction and out instruction. Remember, in instruction is used for accessing input devices and out instruction is used for accessing output devices. Whereas to access memory, we have LDA instruction, STA instruction, MOV A, M instructions, or LHLD instruction, SHLD instructions. These all instructions, this set of instructions what I am saying, which I would be explaining in the next video, these all set of instructions are dedicated for accessing memory. So it is quite sorted out in IO mapped IO. We got separate instructions to access IO devices and separate instructions for accessing memory devices. When it comes to memory mapped IO, mind it, IO devices are part of memory, so there is absolutely no differentiation between memory and IO. So to access both of them, we got same set of instructions, that is LHLD, SHLD, LDA, STA, etc. So there is no significance of in instruction and out instruction when it comes to memory mapped IO. Remember, in instruction, out instruction you can use only and only if you have adopted IO mapped IO technique. If you have adopted memory mapped IO technique, then in and out instructions are useless for you, because in instruction and out instruction supports only for 8-bit address. If you see a format of in and out instruction, you will see that these both instruction provides or supports 8-bit address only. So that's the whole difference between IO mapped IO and memory mapped IO technique. Now you have understood what are the advantages of using IO mapped IO technique, what are the disadvantages for memory mapped IO technique, and so on. But then let's not get into advantages and disadvantages. It's all about the application that demands whether it is IO mapped IO technique or memory mapped IO technique. You have to adopt the appropriate one. Thank you.